Hi everybody, my name is Morgana and this is my first video here on YouTube. So I'm speaking in this video today because I'm struggling with something in my life, and I thought just getting it out there would be helpful for me and maybe get some feedback. So I'm in Miami right now, and my husband has called it quits on our relationship. So a couple of days before Christmas, he said that he didn't want to be with me anymore. I am originally from Europe, and I moved to America because of him. So we met in Europe, we met in Barcelona, and then he proposed to me, and I moved to America to be with him. And so as soon as we got to America, he was always a nice guy in Europe, but as soon as we got to America, he became very controlling, manipulative, and abusive. And in Europe, I had my friends, my family, and I had my job. And then when we moved to America, I had to get married and get a green card, so I couldn't work for a long time. And he just became really controlling and manipulative. And so he was the person that was financially responsible for me. So he would be looking at everything that we spend money on, and he was just controlling of what I was wearing, my weight, the way I looked, the things that I was doing, who I was meeting. So it was a very, very complicated thing for me to understand. And so he also moved me a lot. In almost 2 years, we moved homes 8 times, which I think is very, very not normal to do that. And so he was also wanted us to open our relationship, which I thought it was very weird for someone to do that, especially we just got married. Why do you want to open a relationship? Why do you want to explore with other people? And I realized that there was a lot of he wanting to explore and bring other men into the relationship, not women. I think when men want to explore, they normally fantasize about threesomes with girls and stuff. And he always wanted to bring guys, and he was always surrounded by men. That was pretty much what I realized. He was a sports guy. He has been a sports guy, and was going to the gym a lot. And I was going to the gym with him, and there was a stage where he would stop men in the gym to tell them, "Oh, you look really good. I like your body. I like your biceps." And that was something that was really weird for me. Why would you do something like that? Why would you comment on other men's body? And so the honeymoon stage was gone. I started realizing that I didn't want to be with a person that was really controlling and manipulative. And so I started to understand things in a relationship. He has become more and more abusive in the relationship, into a point where I wasn't working, so I was doing everything at home, and I was perfect. I was like Cinderella, trying to please him in any way, stage, or form. I was cooking for him every day, cleaning, taking care of the dog, taking care of the errands of the house, everything. And there was always something that he would complain about. He would complain probably 10, 20 things per day. And I thought, that's really not normal. And then I started looking into mental health, like, because I thought I had depression because, of the move from Europe to America. And I stumbled across a video from Dr. Phil saying, describing like the different narcissistic personalities. And he was describing my husband, the abuse, the manipulation, the control. It was my husband, 100%. And then I started looking into narcissistic abuse, and I stumbled across, Dr. Ramani and other professionals. And the more I stumbled across it, the more I realized that my husband was narcissistic. And, he was like a malignant narcissist, which is someone that is very sadistic and someone that really takes pride in hurting other people. And so I joined a narcissistic support group, and it has been really helpful for me. So every week we would meet over Zoom, and I would share my experiences, and I would get, feedback on exactly the situation, and I would get, my fellow, friends to tell me, there's nothing wrong with what you've done. The narcissist just needs to hurt you. And that kind of made me understand a little bit the Pandora box, which is narcissism and mental health. And so, because I couldn't leave, I decided that I was giving it a try, and I stayed. We were moving a lot, so I stayed with him, and I thought, I could fix him in any way. But reality is that the more time came, the worse he got. It was almost like pressing buttons to hurt me. If it wasn't sexually, it would be hurting my dog, or you'd be telling bad things about my friends or my family, or looking down into my hobbies and stuff. So we moved to Miami, where he came here for work, and it was the dream city for him. So we moved here, and I decided that when we moved from California to Miami, that I would be more outgoing, I would make friends, and I would, do a lot of hobbies and things that I really want to do. Such as like acting classes, and go like meet friends and go to the beach. And so that's kind of what I started doing. I started going out a lot, and I got my really good group of friends, and the narcissist became super jealous. Like, he told me that I abandoned him. He told me that I have used him for a green card, that I didn't want to please him anymore. I didn't want to be a couple anymore, which wasn't true. I was still doing my duty as a wife, but I wasn't 24/7 on the clock to try to please him, because I had my own life going. It was a point where I received my work permit, so I started working. And he was just very upset that I was living a normal life. Like, if I was dating someone normal, they wouldn't mind that I have friends and that I have a job. But for him, having friends and having a job meant that I didn't have time for him, and I didn't have time to please him, and I didn't have time to be everything in his life. And so we grew more and more apart, and I realized that he has very little friends, and the friends that he have are friends that he meets on the beach or in a club. And then there's a cycle in the friends where he meets someone and he has to be with them 24/7. especially men. And then it's kind of like a relationship, almost like he wants to be 24/7 with these people, in a point where he brings these people home that he doesn't know them. They stay to sleep here. I have to cook for them. It's really strange. It's like a child, like, just he made a friend and he needs to stay with them 24/7, otherwise he cannot breathe. And he has made a couple of friends that were homosexuals, and it got to a point where they wouldn't come here anymore, but he would sleep in their house. And so I thought that was really weird, but I was like, you know what, if he's happy, I'm gonna let him be happy. And so because I was so acceptable of this behavior, I think he took that in a way that I don't love him anymore, because I don't fight for these things anymore. I got into a stage where I don't want to fight with him, so I just give him everything he wants. So if he wants to do something crazy, he can do something crazy. I don't care anymore. And he decided that he just didn't want to work on our relationship anymore. He has this thing in his mind that I was just using him for a green card, and I never loved him, and I just came here because I wanted to live in America, and I just used him for a green card, which is not true. I did everything I could to have a good relationship with him. He's just not a good person. And the more time passes, I'm realizing that he's not a good person, and there's really nothing I can do to change that. So I kind of gave up a little bit of the relationship, and he just doesn't want to be with me anymore. I was talking to a friend of mine, like a friend of a friend, and she was telling me about she was divorced 2 times, and she told me that the first time she got divorced, she realized that her husband was gay. And she was describing how her husband was treating her. And just like my husband, abusive, was asking her to do very, very weird sexual things, such as taking her to swinger clubs, bringing other men to the house, using her clothes, and just porn addiction, all of these things. And when she was describing that guy, she was describing my husband. Like, all the behaviors matched completely. And I realized that he's obviously a narcissist, like that's 100%. But I realized that maybe, and just maybe, he is an in-closet gay, and he has used me to build this persona of being a house, being a normal guy, and having a family, and having a wife that is open-minded in his way, to be able to do whatever he wants. So to get the best of both worlds. And that's kind of the conclusion that I get. It's that he just used me for to keep the parents' appearances up, and because I realized who he is, he just doesn't want me anymore in his life. And so I just wanted to say thank you for listening, if there's anybody listening anyway. And I just want to get some advice. I mean, I moved the continent for this person. I did everything I thought I would do to make this relationship work, and everything I got was pain, abuse, and our relationship is a disaster. And so if you have any advice on what I should do moving forward, because he does not talk to me at all, he does not open up to me. Like, today is his birthday and I send him a photo of our dog and I say happy birthday. He hasn't replied to me. He spent his birthday in New York without me, and like, I love this person, I do, but like, I feel like I'm living a lie. Like, I feel like these 2 years that we spent together were a lie, and I just really don't know how to navigate that. So if you have any tips on how to deal with someone that is narcissistic and is sexually, I don't know, frustrated or sexually confused, just leave a comment below. See you next time.